command early, 4 scoreless innings, 5. Polishing off a 4-2 road trip to Arizona and Chicago. And now the Padres come back home for the start of a 6-game homestand. First things first, a 3-game series against the LA Dodgers beginning here tonight. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego, let's go inside the Padres radio booth.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
We go down the way here at Petco Park. We're joined by Jesse Agler as we get ready for this series opener against the LA Dodgers. Jesse, hope you had a great off day, and as always, appreciate the time. Let's take sort of the wide lens view of the Padres right now. We're 40 games in. They're 20-20. They've won 6 of 8. Now the Padres face a red-hot Dodger team. Where do you feel like this team is at right here, right now, as they begin this series?
I feel like they're 20-20. Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm not poking fun at the question, but I think the record is reflective and fair to what we've seen. There's some years, right, where you go out and you look at the record and you're like, man, I can't believe they've won that many games. It doesn't seem like they've played that way. Other years where you go out and you say, man, they should have so many more wins than they do. I really feel like 20-20 feels right. At this point, from what we've seen, they have played 500 baseball. They've had some hotter spurts. They've had some colder spurts. And 20-20 really does, again, I'm not trying to be cheeky or flip or anything like that. It sounds right to me at this point for where they are. Obviously, it's going to need to get better than that. It's 20-20. Turning into 81-81 is not going to get the job done postseason-wise. And this is a team that has postseason aspirations. So, we have seen them get on a really good roll a couple of times here. You'd like to see that, matched up maybe with some shorter, colder streaks going forward. There are always going to be colder streaks. That's okay. But to not have them maybe, go on 4 or 5 games at a time like we've seen at times this year.
A tough test here this weekend against the Dodgers. They're playing really well right now, and I always give my keys to the game a little bit later in our pregame coverage. So I'll give you an opportunity to share your keys to today's game. Is it Michael King limiting the home run? Is it controlling this Dodger lineup? Is it taking the Padre offense that we've seen on the road, bringing it at home? What do you feel like the keys are to tonight's game and I guess throughout this series against L.A.?
Yeah, when you're playing this team, particularly the way they're playing right now, it's going to be all of the above, right? Let's start with Michael King because, as we all discuss so often, starting pitching really does dictate so much of what's going to happen. Yeah, try and keep him in the yard a little bit. And, if there's going to be a couple of home runs, and there may well be, that's the kind of team they are. You hope that it's a solo variety kind of situation, not a 2-run homer, 3-run homer, or a grand slam. Padres have done a great job most times this year of giving Michael King big run support. That's going to be a challenge against Tyler Glasnow, who's as filthy as anybody. We've seen some real deal guys in the last couple of weeks And, we've seen some pretty remarkable pitching, whether it was the Phillies series or whatever on the last homestand. We've seen real deal stuff a lot lately against the Padres. Imanaga the other night for the Cubs. Glasnow is in that category and maybe filthier than most of those other guys that we've seen. So, we know how those games have gone. And so maybe offensively you try not to get too greedy against Tyler Glasnow. You try and just stick with the approach, as you said, that Petco Park approach that they've been talking so much about. Line drives, use the middle of the field. You're not worried too much about launching. Glasnow, I mean, he's overpowering. He is a strikeout artist. He is a very difficult guy to go up against. He has been outstanding. He's had one bad start this year, randomly against the Nationals. Outside of that, he's been brilliant. And the Dodger bullpen, and this is what makes this series different than the Cubs series, is that, against the Cubs, we said, all right, their starting pitching has been great, but you can get to the bullpen. It's not necessarily the case against the Dodgers. Even with Evan Phillips on the IL right now, their closer, their bullpen has been extraordinary. So, slim margins, I guess, is what I'm saying. You're going to have to play mistake-free baseball, and you're going to have to get great starting pitching. This is for the whole weekend. And you're going to have a great approach to the dish. And that's what you have to do in October. So to tie it back to that, that's what you want to see out of this team this weekend, and really more times than not for the rest of the season.
And you talk about the slim margins, and that's something I know that you and Tony have talked about throughout the first quarter now of this season, that the margin for error for this Padres team on many nights, with the way they probably have to win games, it'll continue to be pretty small, right?
No question. This version of the team, and look, there's always a dozen versions of a team over the course of the year, but for now, absolutely. Now, the good news is, feels like forever since we've had some conversation about the defense letting them down.
Right.
It feels like we're having far fewer conversations about base running. Jackson Merrill getting picked off the other night wasn't ideal, but it also wasn't the worst thing ever, and it was a young guy having a moment that he can learn from. Remember back the first couple weeks of the season, it seemed like every other day we were having a conversation about somebody running into an out on the bases where it kind of made you put your hand over your face a little bit. Same with the defense. You remember all the errors that Kim was making early on in the year, and we were like, what's going on here, right? Those things have been cleaned up, generally speaking, and I'm knocking on wood so that I don't get blamed for anything if it happens tonight. But, you're right. The margins are slim right now, but the good news is they are playing really good, clean baseball right now, and a lot of those conversations we had in the first couple weeks of the season we haven't had in a while. And look, the main thing to remember, this team is back from a very, very, very successful road trip. Going 4-2 could have been better than that. If not for a little bit here, a little bit there. They're playing very good baseball, and now a really fun challenge this weekend.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think I said on the post-game show after Wednesday's game that in this 8-game stretch where they've won 6, I feel like it's maybe the best baseball they've played to this point overall. Jesse, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Tony coming up at 6:30 on a beautiful evening here in downtown San Diego. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sam. Enjoy the night.
All right, you too. Jesse Ackler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show as the Padres begin this 3-game series against the LA Dodgers. We've got a ton to do between now and first pitch. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll also hear from Luis Arraez making his Petco Park debut as a Padre here tonight. Really enjoyed talking with Luis earlier today. We'll have who's hot, who's not, our keys to the game, a full look at a really good starting pitching matchup tonight between Tyler Glasnow and Michael King, and we even have more than that coming your way as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Thanks for listening.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres radio network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. We've got new bumper music here on the pregame coverage. All right, I love it as we get ready for this series opener between the Padres and the LA Dodgers. Dodgers in town. We've got plenty of people already here inside the loft enjoying their drinks and their fries and whatnot. I've got some of my friends here that I always see here inside the loft to my right, some new friends to my left, everybody having a good time on this Friday evening as the Padres get ready to start this three-game series against the LA Dodgers. As we get ready for tonight's game, let's hear from the Padres skipper.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Padres manager Mike Shildt speaking with the media before today's game. And before we hear from Mike, let's quickly take a look at the Padres lineup here tonight. Luis Arraez making his Padre debut at Petco Park tonight, DHing and leading off. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field batting second. Jake Cronenworth at first base batting third. Manny Machado at third base batting cleanup. Jurickson Profar in left field batting fifth. Xander Bogaerts at second base batting sixth. Jackson Merrill in center field batting seventh. Luis Campusano batting eighth doing the catching. Ha-Sung Kim, the shortstop, batting ninth. On the mound for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. On the mound for the Dodgers, right-hander Tyler Glasnow. He has been very, very good so far this season. More on him coming up a little bit later. And with the lineup and the starting pitching matchup in mind, let's hear from the Padres manager.
All right, so 5 games for Arraez, and we've already seen him making an impact. What's impressed you about him at the plate?
Yeah, I think I want to start, though, by, giving the condolences to the Burroughs family. Sean, it's a tragic passing, and clearly a former Padre, and just a really sad thing that our hearts for the organization are with the family. So just wanted to kind of start everything with that. But, talking about Arraez, as advertised, this guy, seen him a little bit across the field, but, now getting to live with him at the top of the order and what he can bring and the at-bats he can bring are clearly helped our lineup tremendously.
Michael King coming off of a great outing in Arizona. What did you like from that outing?
What I like, biggest thing, he was just commanding the baseball, controlling counts, throwing the ball where he wanted, throwing the ball in for effect, for strikes, and then being able to throw his secondary pitches for strikes as well. He's disrupting balance and timing, so did a great job.
This is the third time that he'll be seeing the Dodgers. What do you think is going to be key for him, particularly against the top part of their lineup?
Yeah, he came in relief in Seoul, and then he, of course, started over there. And similar to the answer I just gave, it's really going to be about how he able to locate the baseball. It's a good lineup, but it's how we play and how he competes with what he has that'll allow him to be successful.
Then we're going to be seeing Tyler Glasnow again today, and we've seen, especially lately, he's been very dominant as of late. What do you think will be key to approaching him today?
Yeah, he's got a good arm. He's got experience. It's really about making sure we can get good pitches. Sometimes those guys that are tough like him with good stuff don't give you too much. Well, being able to put on the barrel of the ball when he does give us something to hit, and then just having tough at bats, which we have done very well this year.
Yeah, and especially coming off of that road trip too, just great offensive numbers, but particularly there were 24 hits on 2 outs, 15 of those with 2 strikes. What can you say about what this team has been doing overall in those types of situations?
Yeah, it's really about a number of things, probably 3. One is the physical ability, clearly, your swing needs to be in a good place. 2, it's the understanding what you're going to see, so there's a mental approach to it, and then it's just going to stand up pure competition. How are you going to compete in the circumstances? We played in some good environments on the road, and guys were able to keep their heads and just play the game and see what they were going to knew what they were looking for and be able to execute it.
Arraez, it's kind of a throwback, a very unique hitter in today's game. Watching his process now over the last week or so, what is it that sets him apart?
There's quite a few things that set him apart. First, we've got elite bat-to-ball skills. So that inherently is talent sets him apart. I'm learning to know about his work ethic. This guy hits a lot. And if you're going to, do anything and be good at it, you're probably going to do a lot of it. So he really is really going to be consistent with his hitting. He's going to hit a ton. Now, that doesn't work for everybody because some guys hit too much, but it does clearly work for him. And then lastly is baseball acumen as far as, he sees the game exceptionally well, and he does his homework and research. He knows how guys are going to pitch him, and then in competition, he sees what the guy's actually doing, because sometimes that can alter when the game actually starts. So he's got a great approach. So he's just got it's kind of a perfect storm of everything positive from a hitting standpoint.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game. We'll hear more from Mike after today's game on our post-game show as the Padres play the LA Dodgers in the opening game of this 3-game series. Sam Levitt with you here inside the loft at the Western Metal Building as we get you ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
First, we take a look at the hot category today. A couple of guys we want to highlight there from the Padres. Jurickson Profar had a 13-game on-base streak snapped on Wednesday, but even with that, his last 14 games, Profar batting .396 with a .1099 OPS. Profar still entered today ranking top 10 in the NL in batting average, on-base percentage, RBIs, slugging, OPS. He continues to have a terrific first month and a half of the season. Jake Cronenworth in the midst of a 12-game hitting streak. He's in the hot category as well. 6 doubles, 3 home runs, 11 RBI in that span. Cronenworth hitting .367 in that 12-game stretch. Freddie Freeman in the midst of a 17-game on-base streak for the Dodgers, batting .355 in that span. 10 extra base hits, 13 RBIs in those 17 games as well. So we'll put Freeman in the hot category. Luis Arraez in the hot category as well, but I'm going to save some of the numbers on him for a little bit later. The not category today, we take a look at a few guys. Xander Bogaerts, 4 for 21 in his last 5 games, so we'll put him in the not category. Mookie Betts just 4 for 23 in his last 6 games. We'll see if Bogaerts or Betts gets it going here in this series. And then I was debating this one. Do I do it? Do I put Shohei Ohtani in the not category? Because Ohtani is 0 for his last 6 in the last 2 games. In fact, Ohtani has now gone back-to-back games without a hit for the first time all season. Now, Ohtani's batting .355. He has an 11.03 OPS. He's got a .678 slugging percentage. He's got 11 home runs. But he is 0 for his last 6. So you know what? Executive decision. Shohei Ohtani in the not category here today on Who's Hot, Who's Not. And we'll see if the Padres can keep it that way, keep Ohtani cooled off as they begin a series against the Dodgers. When we come back here on the Padres Radio Network, we'll hear from one of the newest Padres, Luis Arraez, set to make his Padre debut here at home. Should be very exciting. Arraez DHing and leading off here today. Plus, we'll have our keys to the game and a much deeper look at our pitching matchup between Tyler Glasnow and Michael King. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. We continue our pregame coverage after this on the Padres Radio Network.
TimberTech is the #1
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 as the Padres begin this three-game series against the Dodgers, and they begin a six-game homestand. First three against LA, three against Colorado. We'll see if the Padres can keep the good times rolling coming off a 4-2 road trip to Arizona and Chicago. Right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres here today. Tyler Glasnow, the tough right-hander on the mound for LA. Much more on that pitching matchup coming up in just a little bit. We'll hear from Luis Arraez in a little bit as well. We'll also have the out-of-town scoreboard and our keys to the game. But first, let's take a look at the injuries for the Padres and the Dodgers impacting this series.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit him up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Let's begin with some injuries for the Dodgers. Dodgers reinstated right-hander Walker Buehler on May 6th. He's made now one start in his return to the major leagues after Tommy John surgery. That's significant because Buehler will pitch on Sunday in this series. So the Padres will face Walker Buehler for the first time in really a long time. He will pitch on Sunday in this series. The corresponding move when the Dodgers reinstated Buehler was placing right-hander Joe Kelly on the 15-day IL with a right posterior shoulder strain. A couple of other notes for the Dodgers injury-wise. Blake Trinan is back from the IL, so he's back in their bullpen. Right-hander Evan Phillips is on the IL right now due to a right hamstring strain, so he will be unavailable for this series. So those are a couple of notes on the Dodgers entering this series. The note on the Padres, not something really affecting this series because Joe Musgrove wouldn't have been scheduled to pitch this series anyway, but as we know, Joe is on the IL as he continues to deal with that tricep tendonitis, and everything sounds pretty good according to Mike Shildt earlier today about Joe, and we'll see when Joe can return to the mound, but everything pointing in a positive direction. So that's the update on the Dodgers and the Padres as far as the injuries entering this three-game series. Now let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We have one final already today. The Astros beating the Tigers 5-2 in Detroit. Everything else is going on right now or coming up later. The Braves ahead of the Mets 4-0 in New York in the fourth inning right now. Cubs and the Pirates tied at 2 in Pittsburgh in the fifth. Yankees ahead of the Rays 2-0 in Tampa Bay in the ninth inning. Orioles ahead of the Diamondbacks 4-2 in Baltimore in the seventh. Twins and the Blue Jays in Toronto. Twins 2, Blue Jays 1 in the ninth. Phillies ahead of the Marlins 7-0 in Miami in the seventh. Nationals ahead of the Red Sox 3-1 in Boston in the eighth inning. White Sox ahead of the Guardians 3-0 in Chicago in the sixth inning. Brewers ahead of the Cardinals 2-0 in Milwaukee in the fourth. Rangers and the Rockies are scoreless in Colorado in the second. Everything else coming up in a little bit. Royals and the Angels in Anaheim, A's and the Mariners in Seattle, and finally the Reds and the Giants in San Francisco at 7:15. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday night. Well, Luis Arraez is off to a very nice start in a Padre uniform. He had 4 hits in his Padre debut in Arizona on Saturday. He had a couple of hits, couple of runs scored on Wednesday in the win in Chicago. He's been as advertised so far. The quality of at-bats, the hits he's had from the top of the lineup. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Here was Luis Arraez inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today with Padres TV's Mary Lou's Cook and I before the game.
So I know that you got to start off on the road and now you make it here to San Diego. What's your experience been as a Padre so far?
No, this is amazing, especially when I play with one thing we know can compete here, and I know Tatis, Machado, I know those guys already, and then Suarez, so I'm excited to be here.
Now you come in, you're the leadoff guy. What does it mean to be able to lead off the guys that are coming behind you?
I mean, it's amazing because I know I just need to get on base, and then let's see what Tatis do and Machado do and Cronin too. So I just try to do my little things and then try to help my team win.
You mentioned some of the guys that you already know. How has that helped you get acclimated here?
Amazing, especially Tari and Machado. Those guys, they are all stars. So I'm happy to be here.
And then your off day yesterday, were you able to enjoy San Diego at all? How'd you spend it?
I mean, I don't have off day yesterday because I'm trying to find my apartment to where I live. So, and then my wife come here last night, my mom too. So I don't do anything special last night. So let's see if I do it tomorrow or whatever day. But I just need to enjoy here in San Diego.
Luis, this stadium has been sold out a lot the last couple of years. What's your level of anticipation to play here in front of these fans?
Oh, amazing! I can't wait because I mean I play around for a lot of fans, especially when I play the Clásico, the baseball classic in Miami. So I know what it is, and I know the energy, and then I can't wait tonight.
That was Luis Arraez inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was more from Arraez, his initial reaction to getting traded to the Padres.
I was surprised. I don't want to lie. I was surprised because that was too early, but God got something for me, and then that's why I'm here.
You mentioned that you know these guys, Tatis and Machado, but how instantly welcoming did the entire team make you upon your arrival?
Amazing. I feel like I got here for a long time. So they are amazing, and they welcome me to a special team. They open the door for me, and then I just here to play baseball, to enjoy this game.
What's your take on the competitiveness of this team and wanting to be a postseason team and how you might fit in with that?
I mean, we got a really good team. We compete. We got a lot of young team. I think we can do a lot of damage here. So I can't wait to play versus Dodgers tonight, and then let's see what happens.
Some folks here have made comparisons to the way that you approach hitting to Tony Gwynn. Did you know anything about Tony at all, and how do you feel about that comparison?
I feel amazing. I mean, Tony Gwynn get a lot of hits. I started my years here, and then I just try to do something special, get my hits, and let's see what happens. But Tony, he was amazing. And then everybody loved him, how he hit, and then let's see if the fans from San Diego love me like that. But I just come here to give the energy to my teammates and give something special to the fans too.
You've been traded before, but to come to a new city, to leave your family in Miami, like what is that to go through? What do you have to figure out?
It's tough, but I gotta open my mind. You know, this is business. Everybody understands this is business, and then especially me. So I prepare my mind to play everywhere, no matter what team. But now I'm here with Padres, and then I just need to work hard and then do something special.
What have your new teammates told you about playing for this team, about being this organization?
JB, Just Bell. And then my manager was a sketch marker. And then those guys was here with this organization. They tell me this is one of the stadium get a lot of fans every day. So that's what I would need, especially the players. When we have the support for the fans, that's amazing. That's everything for us.
With your debut being against the Dodgers, how does that add to, or your debut here at Petco Park specifically, how does that add to the excitement for you being against the Dodgers?
Amazing. I'm here to compete. And everybody knows Dodgers got a really good team, but I trust my teammates too.
That was Luis Arraez inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Very much looking forward to Arraez making his Padre debut here at home, playing in the Padre uniform, the City Connect uniform, for the very first time in front of these great fans in downtown San Diego. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. We'll go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in about 15 minutes. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and then all the play-by-play. We'll also take a much deeper dive into our pitching matchup between Michael King and Tyler Glasnow in just a little bit. We will talk about some of the pitching in our keys to the game. Let's get to it.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
We take a look at our keys to this series opener against the LA Dodgers. Key number one, bring the bats back home. The Padres have been one of the best offensive teams in baseball on the road so far this year, but those same numbers quite simply, they have not translated to Petco Park. Consider this. So far this season, in 21 games away from Petco Park, and by the way, this chart was courtesy of Kevin Acey in the San Diego Union Tribune yesterday morning. Really good stuff here from Kevin. 21 games away from Petco Park. The Padres are hitting .278 as a team. They're averaging 5.2 runs per game. They have a .341 on-base percentage. At Petco Park in 19 games, 4.6 runs per game, .238 team batting average, .306 on-base percentage, a little bit higher slug at .409. But again, the numbers that really stand out. At home, 4.6 runs per game. Away from here, 5.2 runs. At home, a .238 team batting average, a .278 team batting average. Away from here, can the Padres get their road offense here at home? That's a big key. The Padres have to find a way to do that. One key to that happening, Fernando Tatis Jr., batting .324 in the last 8 games, currently in the midst of a 6-game hitting streak. We'll see if he can come up big in some moments here at home. Padres, though, aren't only facing Tyler Glasnow tonight, but they'll face a Dodgers bullpen that's been really good lately. Dodgers relievers have allowed just 2 runs in the past 7 games. That's a span of 20-plus innings. So I bundle all this into one key to say that whether it's against Tyler Glasnow, whether it's against the Dodger bullpen, whether it's Fernando Tatis Jr. or somebody else, the Padres desperately, especially in this series, have to find a way to take what they're doing on the road at the plate and get it here in San Diego. That's key number 1. Key number 2, King keeping the Dodgers in the yard. The home run ball has been a major problem at times for Michael King this season. He's given up 10 home runs so far. That is the most in the major leagues. But 5 of those home runs have come against the Dodgers in King's 2 outings against them. Now, King was really good his last start in Arizona, 6 scoreless innings, no home runs given up. This Dodger offense has been great lately. They've outscored opponents 45-12 during this 7-game winning streak. Can King keep the Dodgers in the ballpark tonight? A big key. Also, how does Michael King use his fastball? That pitch has been the main issue. Opponents are slugging .641 against that fastball this season. 9 of the 10 home runs he's given up have come on a fastball. So how does he utilize that fastball against the Dodgers? That's key number 2. And key number 3, be good against Betts. Mookie Betts has played really well against the Padres so far this year. Betts is 11 for 24 with a couple of home runs in 12 RBIs in 5 games against the Padres this season. Padres have to find a way to limit Mookie Betts. That's key number 3, and that's a look at our keys to the game. As always, if you want to come up with your key to the game and share it with me, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can tweet at me at SammyLev, SammyLev. You can also send me a message on Instagram, SammyLev there too, SammyLev. If you want to share your key via the video stream, if you're watching right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you can comment on the stream, and when we come back, I'll share some of your keys to tonight's game here on the air. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here at Petco Park, our EcoWater SoCal. Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the Eco
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. We'll go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in just about 7 minutes. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and then all the play-by-play. Let's tell you what to watch for in tonight's series opener against LA.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game? For me, pretty simple. Luis Arraez playing his first game at Petco Park as a Padre. Arraez is hitting the ball well right now in the midst of a 16-game on-base streak. He has a hit in 14 of those 16 games, had 2 hits and 2 runs scored on Wednesday in Chicago. Arraez is hitting .368 in the last 16 games. More so that Arraez is just swinging the bat well right now. I'm fascinated to see how Arraez plays here at home, how he utilizes a big ballpark with lots of room in the gaps. We'll see what Arraez does here tonight in his first game as a Padre here in downtown San Diego. That's what to watch for in this series opener. Let's dive into our pitching matchup between Michael King and Tyler Glasnow.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
On the mound for the Dodgers, right-hander Tyler Glasnow, 30 years old. Here in 2024, he has been really, really good. 6-1, a 2.70 ERA in 8 starts, 50 innings, 63 strikeouts, 13 walks. Glasnow leads baseball in wins, strikeouts. He ranks second in innings pitched, ranks 8th in opponent batting average at 182, in whip at 0.92. Last start, Saturday against the Braves, he went 7 innings, 2 earned runs given up, 5 hits, struck out 10. His last 3 starts against the Mets, Blue Jays, and Braves, a 1.29 ERA in 21 innings, 29 strikeouts in those 21 frames. Glasnow faced the Padres on opening day in Korea, went 5 innings, 2 runs given up on 2 hits. He's not pitched, though, at Petco Park in a long time. He made 2 appearances here as a reliever all the way back with the Pirates in 2018. That's the last time he faced somebody here at Petco Park. The arsenal for Glasnow, the 4-seam fastball, the slider, throws those pitches a lot more than 80% of the time. Will also mix in the curveball and the sinker. Meanwhile, right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres, the 28-year-old with an up-and-down season so far. His first in San Diego, 3-3, a 4.29 ERA, 42 innings, 43 strikeouts, 21 walks. Like we talked about earlier, has allowed 10 home runs this season, the most in the majors, but he was really good in Arizona last weekend. 6 innings, no runs given up, 6 hits, he struck out 3, walked nobody. King has faced the Dodgers twice this season, 1 relief appearance in Korea, went 3 innings and a third, 3 earned runs given up, gave up a home run to Mookie Betts. 1 start on April 12th in LA, went 5 innings, 4 earned runs given up, gave up 4 home runs, 1 to Ohtani, 1 to Muncy, 1 to Betts, and 1 to Teoscar Hernandez. Righties hitting .218 against King, lefties a little bit better at .250. And the arsenal for Michael King, the 4-seam fastball, the changeup, the sinker, the sweeper. He'll throw those 4 primarily. Also, once in a while, mix in the slider. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup here today. A couple of good right-handers, Tyler Glasnow on the mound for LA, and Michael King on the mound for the Padres. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. A matchup tonight of a couple of teams playing good baseball right now. Padres have won 6 of their last 8 games. They just went on a 4-2 road trip. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are 26-13. Dodgers have won 7 in a row, and 14 of their last 16. Can the Padres cool off that team from LA here tonight? We're going to find out. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you post-game. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game.
Homeowners, visit overasksd.com and get a no-obligation cash offer for your home in as little as 24 hours. Whether you're fleeing California tax